What's up, everybody? This is Talkative Carl back again for another Christmas movie spoiler review. And today will be a little unconventional kind of Christmas movie, depending on your point of view, is Die Hard 2. I already completed my review for Die Hard 1 in the previous video, which you can check out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkativecarl, and follow me on my other links in the description in below this video. And I think this is like a very underrated, not only Christmas movie but Die Hard movie, because it is still technically set at Christmas time. But I don't think I hear a lot of love for when it comes to Die Hard 2. I figured that I throw this on the list of Christmas movies I want to review for the holidays, and I gotta say, not as good as the first Die Hard movie. However, it's in the top three. There's only three good Die Hard movies. It's 1 through 3, but everything else is like. So I think personally I put obviously Die Hard 1 is the best, Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and then Die Hard 2 is below that. But I gotta say, still pretty solid, even though they still played the same beats from the previous one, just set in the airport rather than just a single building. But unlike the first one, you actually get John moving around a lot more. Get more. It's kind of like playing a video game where it's like Batman Arkham Asylum, where it's localized to a particular island. But as you move in Batman Arkham City, you get more room to maneuverability, and you can see most outside spaces. You're not trapped in a localized area. That's how I see it. So after the events of the first film, 2 years later, John is an LAPD officer now, and he's completely moved from New York to LA to be with his family. And right away, you already see Johnny in some mess with the airport, officers who, one being giving him a ticket, and it's not even his car; it's his mother-in-law's car. So that always, got bug up his ass about it, and the cop just ain't giving him any kind of slack at all, despite him being a fellow officer. And it's Christmas Eve. It's whatever. So Holly's paging him. Remember pagers? She's flying to the airport where John's supposed to be picking her up. And then we meet some new villains in this film. There's corrupt former military general Esperanza, and some sympathizers what's his name? Because they're not as memorable as Hans Gruber or Simon in the third film, which is kind of sad in a way, because they're actually pretty dope. Colonel William Stewart. William Stewart and Ramon Esperanza. Now, Stewart gets these former military, officers who are sympathizers to Esperanza to help them liberate him after he's been extradited to the U.S. for crimes. Now they hijacking this airport, pretty much holding, what remaining aircrafts that's in the air that's low on fuel hostage in a way, because now after hijacking their communication systems, where John sees them fooling around because he getting this little cop hunch, he kills one guy in the baggage claim while the other guy escapes. But it's too late when Stewart finally, takes control of like communications with air traffic control. Now he's fully in control of the communications between like the airline with like the aircrafts and him. So the tower can't say anything, or at least can't interfere on the threat of crashing one of the planes by giving them bad directions, and which eventually he crashed one of the British Airlines into the ground. But as John trying to make headway, trying to assist in stopping these guys, he getting stonewalled by these it was like two fat officers that give him crap. But one in particular, I think he was on like this TV show. He passed away a long time ago, but he was on this TV show, Shield. I think it was Shield. Because like, matter of fact, two guys was on like cop shows, like Fred Thompson, who was on like a lot of Law and Order stuff. Who was playing like the controller of the air traffic, and he was an air traffic director. What was that? Yeah, NYPD Blue. I'm confusing it with Shield. He was on NYPD Blue, and he's giving like John shit, despite John being like a kind of like a recognized hero over the Nakatomi Plaza incident. So they ain't giving him no kind of preferential treatment at all. It's like you would think, but this is like a, well, this is 2 years later. It's 1990, but it's still like the tail end of the 80s, where it's like movies like this, you always got the kind of the no nonsense kind of like cop that's like don't believe in like our main lead, who says like something's up, and it's not not giving him like, yeah, you're out of control, McClane. It's like, like, and it's like, of course, like, you ain't trying to like listen until like halfway into the movie. But but as soon as the dire situation is getting a little grimmer, one of the assistants to the air traffic controller, the engineer played by Art Evans, playing the role of Leslie Barnes, is trying to go with the SWAT team to try to gain access to the communication systems again, but they are met up with more of the terrorists, who kills the SWAT guys. But before Barnes can get killed, John McClane comes in, saves the day, and kills these guys. But this ends up leading to the aircrafts getting the British airline getting crashed into the ground, which devastates John. But now he's like really in like okay, like I'm like really like the situation is getting like heightened now, because every once in a while you pan over to what's going on with Holly on the plane, because like that slimy reporter is taking the same flight as her, ironically. But like you get to see, like, if I got one of the few cons that I have about this movie is that I get like it's kind of like the way the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where we keep panning to what's going on with the what's going on these planes. Now, only difference is we know somebody on these planes, so that's where like the situation giving you the dire situation at hand. Like Holly's plane's the next plane low on fuel, and like it will be like the next plane going to crash if this situation is not handled properly. But I wish we did not have to constantly go back and forth with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure after a couple of times I don't know, maybe people will lose focus on Holly, or at least forget about Holly. I don't think anybody will forget about Holly 2-3 times at the most. But I feel like we went there at least went back on the plane at least 6 times, 6 or 7 times, and I think like after the third time, I think I personally would have gotten the point. It's like, he has to get everything in control because Holly's plane's gonna be crashing next. But now they're starting to listen to John McClane after this whole situation, which they should have done a long time ago. But that's typical in movies like this. But then they call in the special forces led by John Stamos. John Stamos. I had to double check. Playing Major Grant, which is funny because it was like a funny moment between him and John, where it's like he's giving John shit at first, but later on it's like after Major Grant is impressed by John's gumption and stuff like that. It's like John was like, I guess you're not some kind of asshole. I guess you're not an asshole after all. And then it's like a funny line between Major Grant. It's like, no, you're right. I'm just your kind of asshole. And it's like, of course, he turns out to be a bad guy himself. But before John ended up killing him at the end of the movie, I just want to mention this right away. It's like, he was like, it's too bad, McClane. I kind of like you. It's like, I already got enough friends. And it's like, it's one of those moments in a movie where I can actually do see these two getting along. Because, of course, when you see Die Hard Avengers, you see Sam Jackson not playing like the same kind of major role or anything like that. But not major as like the big role, but like major as in like a officer. But it's like, he kind of got like that cool, no nonsense Black Frank kind of situation. But I don't know. It just, they obviously play off each other very well. But as soon as they figured out that these terrorists are holed up at this church that's like, off site, using as like a base of operations as like their makeshift tower, they get there and fight ensues, but they end up getting away despite John taking one of the guy's guns and trying to shoot these guys. And he realized, I should have nailed some of these guys, but I know got a beat on at least a few of them. What's going on? He checked the guns and realized the guns that he took off of one of the bad guys are blanks. And you notice because the ammo clips have like blue tape and some have red tape. The red tape are with live ammunition, while the blue tape are dummy rounds, or at least like they're blanks. And when he goes back to the tower, and he tells like the officers there, like, we all been played. Grant is working with the terrorist group. They were playing all of us. So because this is long after they the Esperanza finally landed, after he somehow ends up hijacking his own, because he broke out of his own restraints, killed the guy watching him, and the pilots, and flew the plane himself to land, expecting Stewart to give him the because that's why they hijacked the airline, so that way they have a clear landing without any interference, so Esperanza can land safely, so they can get the heck out of there. They all go and track down, of course, because they was trying to take this 747 to get themselves out of the area. John takes one of the news reporters' helicopters to try to intercept the plane. They land on the wing of the plane to well, at least he land. They get close to the wing of the plane so he can land on top of it. So that way, he can like try to stop it, or at least from taking off. But he puts one of his jackets, not one of his jackets. He puts his jacket on like the what do you call those? The Elerion. Elerion. Uh, it's part of the wing of the craft. It's like the little flap things, on the wing of the plane. He, jams one of them, which prevents them from actually successfully taking off. So, Major Grant goes out and like they duke it out, and then it's probably one of like not one of the gruesomest. I've seen like more gruesomer like deaths in movies around this time, but this one like kind of caught me by surprise when like I never seen as a kid, never seen it before when like Bruce Willis kicks Major Grant into one of the turbines of the plane, and he kind of like just turned him into mulch. And then, of course, you see Stewart actually like using the martial arts he was training earlier in the movie, butt naked for some reason. Never understood that. And like actually whooped John's ass, because if you've seen Live Free or Die Hard, John is just more so like a street brawler kind of situation. When he's going up against someone who actually knows how to freaking fight, like real martial arts training, he obviously gets butt whooped and usually rely on luck just to get out of certain situations. But he gets kicked off the plane, but not before he opens one of the valves containing, that holds, that's, keeping like the gas reservoir, or at least opens the gas reservoir that kept the fuel inside the plane, releases it and is, being dumped out as he's falling to the ground. Stewart doesn't realize, and he goes back in the plane. They all celebrate and everything like that. And then John gives the famous line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." Throws, his lighter, on a trail of fuel, which, follows the trail back to the plane and it blows it up. Which also, I'm not sure if it was even planned out that way, but because of that, it gives Holly's plane, like a signal fire essentially to know they're getting close to the ground so they can properly land without, nosediving purposely into the ground. And so, they land safely. And like, they leave, embrace, leave, and like one of the sergeants rips up the ticket. You get a nice little cameo with the movie ends with like, Christmas music playing, and they take off. You get a nice cameo from Sergeant Al Powell, who helps, with like the fingerprint analysis off of one of the terrorists that John killed in the baggage claim. But yeah, it's a nice little moment to see him still eating Twinkies. And yeah, I mean, like, this, like, this movie is fun. It's still fun. It's still a good watchable movie. But it's too bad it's not in the heights of what we see from like Die Hard and like Die Hard with a Vengeance. But it's still fun. That's why it's still like it's still better than Live Free or Die Hard, or even the fifth one. By leaps and bounds, it's still better. But yeah, I mean, it's still fun. I still give it like, if I give it a grade, I say like B+, honestly, while Die Hard with Avengers and Die Hard 1 is in the A+ tiers. I mean, mostly because of the main villains from those movies. I think it's because of the main villains is why, they stood out so hard. While, do anybody would even remember about Sergeant or Colonel Stewart at all, or Esperanza? No, unfortunately. Played by, good actors. But it's just that they're no Hans Gruber. They're no Simon, Simon or Hans Gruber. I'm sorry. Jeremy Irons and Alan Rickman are like on a whole nother tier when it comes to like acting. Not that the other guys in this movie ain't great actors. They are great actors in their own right, but I don't know. Alan Rickman and Jeremy Irons always, take it to a whole nother level with their acting. I mean, it's just like stunning, stunning performances. That's probably why they're, you know, number 3 as far as like probably favorite Die Hard movies. And I honestly believe a lot of people will put it at number 3 as their favorite Die Hard movie. But anyway, that was fairly quick. It's like not much to say about this movie. I mean, it's like it's not terrible. It's like I said, it's like B plus. It's really it's a pretty decent movie. Aside from like the villains, I wish they made the villains really pop more. But I think it's mainly because also it's directed by Renny Harlin, while the first Die Hard movie was directed by John McTiernan, and he also did Die Hard with a Vengeance. And it's probably why those two are so memorable, because like he knows how to direct and probably help with the casting with like their villains. And it's like he knew who to add. You got Sam Jackson and Jeremy Irons playing alongside with Bruce Willis. Of course you're going to get stellar performances. And Die Hard, honestly, I don't think anybody expected Die Hard 1 to be one of the most acknowledged, it's in like the Smithsonian is in like the historical archives as far as like one of the great films of all time. Man, I don't know what happened with John McTiernan and why he couldn't direct the second one, because if he did, I think Die Hard 2 would have been a little bit better. But anyway, I'm pretty sure at some point after the new year I will eventually get to Die Hard with a Vengeance and review that, because I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. But let me know what you guys think. Follow me in the links in the description below. Sorry, it's like follow me in the links in the description below. Let me know what you think of Die Hard 2. Where would you rank it? I even have to ask. But yeah, and I will see you guys possibly Monday, because I will have by then start reviewing Home Alone 1 and 2 by then. So yeah, I look forward to that Monday. At least I hope it'll be Monday. I'm trying to get as much this stuff out as possible before. I'm trying to like hopefully not go over Christmas Day with my movie reviews, because now I got like Die Hard 2 and 1 wrapped. How many movies I got left to do? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only car I got 7. So if I do Home Alone 1 and 2 on Monday, I'll have 5 left. Obviously, I gotta do like because I want to have at least one Christmas Carol movie, and I'm choosing Scrooge, so I want to save that for Christmas Eve or day. And I figure maybe on Tuesday I'll do Christmas Vacation and maybe Elf. I'm trying to get like these 2-in-1 stuff as soon as possible. But anyway, yeah, I will see you guys soon. Take care, and I figure maybe in like maybe 30 minutes I'll hop back on to some more Overwatch, because I still want to get that wool knit sweater for Tracer for free, because I ain't trying to spend any loot boxes. At least if I can help it, if I can get the costumes that I want, which is only 2, honestly. I can easily pay for 1 if I have to. But anyway, take care, and I'll see you guys later.